people chime in. But the idea is that if you are working with Binary Ninja kind of either as more like a hex editor or working with like encrypted blobs or anything in the binary that you want to change, we have a really, really nice set of features for like manipulating text or manipulating like binary blobs. And it's you see it under the copy as, paste from, and the transform API. These are all like really, really nice like transformations, right? So you can actually copy an array as like you can copy the hash of a blob or copy the base64 of a blob, or you can take this stuff and like I didn't even know you can zlib it apparently. So if you have like a big chunk of stuff and there's a bunch of run of nulls, you could
I've used that in a CTF challenge before.
the
There
the,
was
the, the quick zlib one in particular.
no,
Okay,
just
yeah,
the transform stuff,
yes,
where like it would try to jump execution to a block that had been, I guess, like all the values were like XOR with something, or they were all added to something, so it wasn't valid code. It would try to jump there, but before it did that, it would subtract a value or XOR with something to
yeah.
decrypt it, and then I was just able to do the transform thing, XOR whatever the key was, hit P, make it a function, and like just get going. That was cool.
Nice. Also, by the way, before I forget, JC and Mechanical Null, email Jordan said email here at vector35.com and give me your address. And if I only get 2 addresses mailed to me by the end of the day, then I'll send them out. If I get more than 2, then I'm gonna have to somebody spoofing it, and I'll have to like contact you to figure out who's real, and that'll be annoying. So hopefully that prevents anybody from sniping you. But shoot me your physical address, and we'll get you those mugs mailed out before I forget. Yeah, and honestly, that CTF like sort of like slice and dice and like quick copy paste like oh here's a run of stuff that I want to XOR like that blob. That's like that was a lot of like the CTF roots of Binary Ninja, right? Like it was originally
That's
built for
that's
exactly
one of
that
my
purpose.
favorite features about Binary Ninja. It's not so. One thing that I used to like about Sublime Text back in the day is that it starts up very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
basically instantaneously, and you can start working.
Yeah.
And I use that as an analogy, I think, when I was talking about Binary Ninja once, is like it's very fast to start up and you can just throw something in it and then start working. And that's cool. Like one of the things that I think I don't like about Ghidra is you have to like open it up, create a project, import your executable, then open it in another window, then hit analyze, then wait, and then you can start working.
Yep.
Like that's not a good user experience.
12 clicks. 12 clicks are like interactions to like actually
I
like look at a file. And with Binary Ninja, literally you can drag a binary on top of the window
drag and drop it and then get working.
and you're already
Like,
looking at it. Yeah.
and then you can do all the transform stuff. You don't even have to bring it into another. You don't have to copy it into a hex editor and then do the transform or write a Python script.
Yep, exactly. And so again, like there's lots of really nifty transforms here, but you can add your own. And this is something that again I don't think many people even know. And so there's actually the transform API, which I've never worked with. I've never actually built one. So I think it'll be fun to actually implement one of these as a plugin and watch how bad I am at programming. That's the goal. Right, we can see why the team lets me do the streams instead of continuing to work on the core the way everybody else does. Yeah, so that's the goal. For half a click, it's a drag. I mean, by that count, like a couple of the Ghidra ones are half clicks, so they may be more like 10 if you count half clicks for some of their actions too. But yeah, so the transform API has a perform decode, perform encode, and it takes data and parameters. So let's implement a transformation here. Let's see. I'm going to do this first just as a really basic plugin because I don't. And actually, how do we register a transformation?
I think I'm gonna have to get going.
No worries.
Thank you very much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, people have been looking at the chat, so I need to be at the desktop anyway. So it's a good thing we do that. There we go.
But
Thanks for
thank you
hanging
for
out.
having me.
It's good to see you. And look forward to working with you this summer.
Yeah, take care.
All right, cheers. All right, now I got to figure out how to disable this when my Stream Deck isn't working. There we go. All right. Oh, now you guys just have to listen to me. So, transform. Let's see, how do we actually register a transform? So we've got the transform module. We've got transform parameters. One interesting thing is that transforms you, it's a little bit annoying, right? Because you actually have to instantiate one of these transforms, and you do it as on the Python side. What, Scott? I'm not enough for you. I'm not you. Man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to let you down. You have to get these out as actual strings. You don't have just like transform dot SHA-256 SHA-512. But part of the reason you do that is because this is extensible, right? Because you can add your own strings. So in this particular case, let's actually take a let's just do like a fix XOR key, and we're just gonna do a fix XOR of A because that's what I happen to do right there, right? So I want to and there's actually just kind of common, right? There's malware that has like a fixed XOR key, and you just want to be able to like select a blob, click transform, and have it say like XOR with key or whatever it actually is. So let's make our transform.py, and we are going to make a class trans. Well, let's see. Let's go back and look at this. We've got a transform module that's going to implement. It's going to implement transforms. So I'm going to look, because again, I'm a bad coder, and I'm going to look at the examples in, we're going to go here. Python examples. I don't think there's an existing transform in here. Actually, that's where we should put this. Is we should put it in here because some of the existing ones, right? So like this is a an architecture, right? And this is right. It's implementing a binary view, the class NES view. So what we want to make is we're going to call it XOR A is our class, and it's going to implement a transform. Do we need to import Binary Ninja from Binary Ninja import transform? All right, so we're going to implement our class, and our class has, I think the perform API should be the main ones. What are we looking at? There we go, this one. Oh, thank you, Scott. Good, I feel better. But I know it's okay. I know John's still your bae. There's no, there's no worries there. So we're gonna have perform decode and perform encode. We can actually have a group, and now the group is, I assume, how these are grouped under here, right? So maybe we want to make a separate group of transformations just for malware analysis that we're working on. I'm not going to bother with that for this one, but if y'all implement plugins and start implementing a lot of these, then it would make sense to have more of these, all right? So, and then we've got a transform type, which I believe I saw under the enums, right? So we've got a transform type. Yeah, transform type under the enums. And we can actually specify what kind of transform we've got. And because it's numeration, we can bitwise OR these things together, I believe. No, 3 is decode. No, maybe not. We get to pick one, encode or decode. Oh yeah, a separate one. And then there's the. All right, so. All right, we got parameters. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Hopefully Peter hops on the call at some point if I get stuck, because he was the one that implemented this. So if I can't do it, I might need him to help. All right, so we've got our transform class. We're gonna do, well, let's see. We're gonna have an init. We're gonna have perform. Actually, here, it already even has, yeah, the perform APIs. But oops, 3. All right. All right, so, and what is our init going to take? In the case of a transform, I don't actually know if they're initialized at all, if they just have to implement the perform once. We'll try just implementing perform, data, and then parameters. And parameters are initialized. They're going to have a fixed length, long name, and a name. Oh, right, we do actually have to initialize. So the parameters tell the UI like, do you have to pop this up and actually give another parameter, right? So it knows that in this case we don't actually have any parameters, right? There's nothing to do. So the same way that like a SHA function can, well, copy as is a better example. So if you copy as a hash, it takes the whole thing. You don't need a separate parameter. If you do copy as, do any of these? Yeah, none of the copy as ones have actual separate parameters, but some of the transforms do, right? Any of the encrypt and decrypt ones. You've got to have your key. You've also got to have your payload. So what's selected is your plain text or your ciphertext, and then the key will be actually pasted in once you select it. So that's your parameter. So we don't have any transform parameters because we're going to do this as a fixed key. We're just going to do an XOR of an A. So let's see. We've got perform, and we've got our perform decode, before encode. I think we implement those if we're implementing the transformation, right? Like that's what we're doing. I might actually just go cheat and look at the visual source too to make sure I'm doing this right. Form encode. All right, and those took data and params. Params is probably a list of transform parameters. So I feel like in the init, we're going to need to tell it what parameters we require. Or maybe the parameters might actually... No, I think the parameters are passed in. No, there's got to be something when we initialize where we say that we take the parameters. All right. So I think we're gonna need to figure that out in the init. I don't actually know offhand, so we're gonna go cheat and look at some visual source. So perform encode, perform decode, and this is pretty easy because we probably are just going to return the data that we modify, right? So we're going to be given data. In this case, the parameters don't really matter. There aren't any. So let's nuke this. We'll actually know what we're going to have to do here on the init. And let me see. So we're just going to do something really lame and output equals, make it a byte array. And then for byte in data, output plus equals ord byte. Will that do it? It's probably really bad, so let's just double check this. For byte in a print byte, right? That's actually already got it. That's right. Byte arrays are already decimal, so we don't actually do any of that. If we were doing this in an old string, we would. We can just XOR it. All right. And actually perform encode and decode are the exact same thing. So we could wrap these in some other function. Actually, sure, why not? We'll do it this way. Def XOR key buff key, and we'll do it that way, and then we can just do return XOR key data with OX41, right? We do the same thing for both of these. So let's see. This is our transformation class. I'm not doing yet what I need to do, I think, on the transformation side. So like I said, I'm gonna go cheat real quick and grab some Ninja source. And let me first figure out where it actually is stored. Where did it live? So there actually is, yeah, there's the transform API in the public. All right. Transform, decode, encode. Where do we want to look? So sometimes I like to pregame and already work a little bit on the plugin beforehand so people don't have to sit and see me figure stuff out. And sometimes I like to struggle on stream because that's okay. That's real world. You don't always know the answer right away. And I don't want to give you guys the impression that I know what I'm doing. Clearly, I want you to feel like I am highly incompetent and I can still get stuff done. Because that's, let's see, what's a good transformation I should go try to find? So one of my transforms has a unique string. That's just like for blowfish. The word blowfish is a good one to look for. Where does blowfish live? Oh, that's right. Okay, so that one is the crypto plugin. It does that. Is there one that's not crypto based that I want to look at? Because I don't want to look at OpenCL code if I can help it. Transform hat. That's also going to be done that way. I could do that. Hex dump. All right, so let's see if we can go look at the hex dump. Oh, string transforms. Okay, so there is a class of. All right, let's go looking in the source code now. This is one of those times where we'll just go browse it on stream. Where did I put the source? CD dev binary ninja core string. All right. So we have, actually, let's put this over here. So we're going to initialize the string transforms, and we're going to call, oh, we just call register on it. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, okay. So that's how we're going to register it. And there's separate, okay. So all we have to do is make a new transform. Okay, now I just forget, let's see. Let's go look at NES.py because I know it's kind of a similar. So we don't, right. So we just have the class and we're just going to call the .register function on it. And that's all we got to do. Okay. So let's see. Going to call register on it. I don't think we need anything in the init at all. We're just going to have to perform. We can make that like a class method or something, but transform.py. All right. Who has a bet on whether or not this works? Transform could not be loaded. Wah, wah, wah. What do we got? Transform name is not defined. Oh, right. So we've got to actually have some properties of this. Okay, so self.name. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we're gonna have to let's go back to our API docs and see what transform APIs we've got to. All right, there we go. Name, long name, parameters, transform type. I don't know what the list is or what the group is. We should probably add docs for transforms. Better explanations. Of course, after the stream, we're going to have an example plugin for it. So that'll work. All right, so group list. Can group be empty? I assume. Let's go back and look at our cheat code. Yeah, text codec transform. Raw hex. Okay, so we're going to call this one a string text codec transform. I don't know if that's actually right or not. That probably influences when it shows up. But yeah, so let's see here. Let's grab. Oops. Oh yeah, we don't need list. That's right. List is the list that it gives you from the whole class. So we don't need to worry about that. But group long name. All right, so let's just throw here this as a scratch pad. Oops, what happened to my copy paste? There we go. All right, name is equal to XOR A. That's the easy one. Self.long name XOR buffer with A. Self.parameters. I don't know what I want for that yet. And then I want self.transform type. Let's see if we can get away without having the self.group, because I don't think we need it, but let's try it. All right, and then let's try it without parameters as well and see if it yells at us. Well, we get transform type. We know where do those API docs go? Oops. Transform type. There we go. Is transform type dot text codec or just encode or inverting. Maybe we want to call this inverting because an XOR. Actually, we can just see what the actual XOR does. I think it's gonna be the crypto one though. Let's see where that goes. Plugins, crypto plugin. Yeah, it is. So the XOR one is actually an inverting transform. So we were correct on that. So we can just do transform type dot inverting transform. I don't know what hotkey I'm hitting, but it's not the right one for that. And we're going to need to grab this out of enums import from binary ninja dot enums import transform type. And we want inverting transform. Oops, where do we go? All right, inverting transform. We'll try without parameters, try without group, and let's see what we get now. Okay. Name is not defined. What am I doing wrong? Is my init wrong? What am I doing on my... Oh, maybe I just actually set it here in the class, and I don't need to do it in the init. That might be the case. And I don't need self. All right. Took me a second to remember where there's effort T on the... Nah, there's no... Jordan's interviewing himself. It's just... This is an interview question style thing. I don't know if I'd get hired at. Oh, wait a minute. What happened? Oh, I see what you're saying. Why did that go weird? Y'all, I've been not showing you my desktop that whole time. That whole time. And 2 minutes ago was the first time somebody said something? Man. That's awkward. I mean, there were 14 people willing just to hang out and listen to me talk about code that they couldn't see. So first of all, thanks for hanging with me. But yeah, so you haven't been able to see my code until now, which means did you? Okay, good. All right. So I don't know actually when it freaked out then maybe. What's going on? I think my Stream Deck is being weird if I had to guess. I'm not sure what it's doing. That's super annoying, but anyway, all right, well, good. Look, I just happened very quickly with very little errors. Yeah, I didn't hear anything otherwise. Throw together this little plugin here, right? Let's see what we've got. Uh-oh. Okay. So our transform didn't give us any errors. Yeah, this is not AVR, so that's fine. And if we just select some hex stuff, actually, let's do like a new thing with a bunch of nulls because that'll be super easy to validate our plugin. And so you've got transform XORA. Okay, we're close. So we've got a bug. Performing code takes 2, but 3 were given. We probably have not defined any parameters, so we don't actually need any params, is my guess. So let's, and actually, you know what? Let me look real quick at XOR. I wonder if, do we need encode and decode? No, we just need encode. That's cool. That's very cool. So by telling it that we're an inverting transform, we can just provide encode. So I actually didn't need to parameterize that the way that I did there because we've actually got this other type of transform, right? So thank you, Kyle, for mentioning it. How long was it before I noticed? Okay, so it was only 2 minutes. It was only 2 minutes that it was all weird. All right, let's try that now. And we'll see. We didn't get any errors. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Hold, please. AVR plugin's about to get removed because it's trying to load itself for every file. No, thank you. All right. So we've got some bytes. I'm going to select them. I'm going to transform, and we're going to do this as XORA. Other way around. Oh, did I forget self? I did forget self, didn't I? That's exactly what I did. So this can be a class method, I think. Is that how it goes? What's the... Is it not class method? There's a way to make it a... let's see. Python class method versus static method. I think, what are these? Class method and not the bound to the class static. I think static is what I want. Yeah, I think I want static method for that little helper. Get static method. There's a good interview question, speaking of self-interviewing. And then on that one, right, and then this needs self-data params. Okay. Oh, not 30s, do just zeros. Okay, XOR a little bit more obvious. Transform XOR. XOR key is not defined because I wrote something wrong, didn't I? Huh? Oh. Self.XOR key. It's still on the class, even if it's not a class method, or if it's a static method. And actually, I should be able to, yeah, transform XOR. So I can do that with the command palette too, which is nice. Okay. Data is not defined. We're finding my actual, oh yeah, it's because I called it buff here, didn't I? Data, let's just do it that way. All right, oh, nope, no. Transform can't cat int to bytes. Oh, right. So I do need it on the other way around. I think I can just do this. Let's actually test our XOR script. So, so we've got a string, and I can XOR that with 41. Can I just pass that back into byte? Or do I? Yeah, I think I can just. So I think I can do b equals b plus equals. Next was that. B plus equals next. Can't concat stir to bytes. So I've got stir to bytes. Oh, it's encode, isn't it? Or decode the like so actually it's here. So this I mean, I guess there's a couple ways I could do this. I could just do you know, I could use like pack, and I could pack it as a byte. None of these are good options. This is all because I'm bad at code, in Python in particular. What's a good way to do this? Let me think. Yeah, or I mean, the other option is, this is actually potentially bad, is I could just make an actual string and then append, oops, that's not what I wanted. I can make b an actual string, b dot append, what do I call it? Next, yeah, b dot append next. All right, b plus equals next. All right, and that's going to do that. And then I've got bytes b. Yeah, and then something like this. All right, okay. I think this is wrong and not good code, but we're going to roll with it for now. Bytes. It used to be, was it sure? All right. I think this is terrible code. I look forward to seeing the many more succinct, better written versions that y'all could do. And related, by the way, we're probably going to be announcing like a transform contest. So if you didn't get a mug now, oh, just do it as an array. Yeah, actually, so if I've got, yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. So we can make output an array, and we can do output dot append that, and then do that maybe. Is that what you're going for? I think it's probably cleaner than going through. And actually, I don't think I need the encoding at that point because it's not a string. Right. That might work much better. Hey, it looks like it works. Thanks, TMI, for that suggestion. I think that's cleaner. And it looks like we've got a plugin, and it XORs, and we should be able to XOR a here now. I'm actually curious. This feels weird to me that the transform link should be. It should be, because I've done it before, it should be the first on the list. I don't know why copy as is showing up above. Above the actual transform there. Welcome, Fox. Welcome, welcome. Just at the end of the stream. we built a little transform API. So we can now XOR decode. So we could always, with Binjo, we could always just XOR something. Oh, interesting. Wait a minute. Are the regular transforms not in the command palette? No, it's there. Maybe it's case sensitivity. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, transform or yeah, you could always XOR something and put in a key of hex 41 and apply it. But we built a little transform plugin just to do that as one step. So XOR A, transform. The idea being that if you've got like a piece of malware or you've got a something that has like a complicated transformation kind of thing, you could build a little plugin to do that. Thank you, Fox. It's good to be back from vacation. I posted some pictures in the Slack of hanging out in the mountains with no internet. Yes, you can absolutely group custom ones. Right. So I think the group. Let's look again. I guess I'm gonna go cheat and look at the actual Binjo source, but the group. It's like raw hex transform. Okay. It looks like the group is just a string. So does that seem consistent? Yeah, so it looks like the transform group is just a string. Let's see, what are we looking at there? Raw hex. No, is that right? Or is it binary? One of these, I feel like we can go look at the API docs or look at the actual header file for transformations. And let's transform. And transform. All right, so type. Yeah, so in this case, group is the very last one. So when we're looking here at binary is the group under which the raw hex one comes under. I'm actually wondering though, where does that? Oh, and also by the way, does our XOR A shows up under copy as. So the nice thing is the transform types allow you to define like where the stuff shows up without you explicitly putting it in every menu. So, oh, I don't even remember reverse. That's funny. I totally forgot about that. Transform reverse. Boop. Can reverse it in place. That's fun. So yeah, so how do so encode decode. I think the grouping is just going to define where it is on this list. I don't think it's going to put it into a submenu. That's my guess. I don't actually know. But let's do this real quick. So we can make or make XOR B and have it be the same thing. Except it's going to be, we're going to call this self group equals XOR. And I'll just grab this one. And not to forget, this one's going to XOR with B. So they're in the same group. We've got XOR B, we've got XOR A. And let's see what happens. I think it's just going to cluster them with like a line between them. Oops. I forget. Self. Oh yeah, it's not self, right? It is already a class variable just by being there. Okay, we don't need parameters. This one takes no parameters. All right, so our plugin's loaded. And let's see what we got. Yeah, so XOR A, XOR B. But I don't know if you can see it on stream because it's a little faint. There is a line between these where it's clustered them. I think that has more to do with the organization. So like if I, for example, make another one, actually, let's make one called C XOR, like just to put it, well, it doesn't really matter what I call it. as long as change the name to CXOR. So I think it's sorting them by name, but the grouping should change the behavior of that plugin. So, right. So you see how CXOR is still in this same group. It got moved into that chunk, not up here under some of the other default groupings. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can put them into a subfolder unless if they happen to be like if we actually make this XOR one instead of making it a inversion one, right? We could actually make it like, was hash one of those types, I assume? Let's go back and look. Yeah, hash transform. So you do get a little bit of that. Like if I make XOR C actually a hash transform, I don't think I'm gonna have to do anything different except we're gonna call it, this would be the world's worst hash method. It always just returns a static value. Hash transform. We'll call this hash A because it's always going to return A. Hash A. Always return A. Hash A register. Okay, so hash A name. Oh, it's log name. I typoed on that. Oops. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if that shows up in the command palette, maybe. Curious. Let's see if I. Okay. So transform. Oh, yeah. So if you give it a long name, it'll actually show up on this list, but it's still shorted probably by the short name. And let's see. Yeah, the long name shows up here actually. Okay, so I had to type in my long name before. Yeah, I don't think you can currently group them, not using the existing stuff, or you can't put them in submenus in particular. The grouping is really just about ordering on this list, and so it puts them in this like collection together, and then they'll be subsorted alphabetically. But our hash, we should have our always return a hash. All right, and so this is a good example. Requested transformation failed happens a lot because what you have selected has to be exactly the same as whatever the output is if it's a transform buffer. But we could also just copy as and always return A. Interesting. Interesting. Now, wait a minute. So why are these hashes here, but my hash, which by the way should just copy the hash of a bunch of A's, did not work? Is it perform? Okay, because hashes may not perform encode. Maybe they perform decode. Oops. Where I want to be. This is where I want to be. Perform encode. Maybe it's perform decode to be a hash. I actually don't know. We'll do the same thing just for kicks and see if that does. So we only needed one before because it was an inversion. Oops. But so copy as hash, or no, copy as always return A. Transformation fail. Oh, result equals bytes results. String argument without. Oh, okay. Right. That's because this wants a byte string. That was just a bug. We should always be returning byte strings. So always copy as always return A. Yeah, and now I can just paste. Oh, it's returning the hex. Interesting. Oh, that makes sense. Hashes are automatically, you give it the raw hash value back and it gives you the hex, right? So if I select something and I want the SHA-SUM, as a hash, it's always just going to return the raw values, but then it always copies that. If you do a copy as, it's always going to do them as like the hex of it. That's funny. Again, so there's like some logic built in all these different transformations, depending on the transform type that you use, including like which menus they show up in, which APIs you have to implement. And it's not really documented, but it's pretty straightforward. I feel like what you get with most of these, you can kind of experiment with a little bit, but we should have a little bit better documentation there. So, I've got to leave soon to go get dinner for my kids. It's family movie night with pizza and popcorn. So I'm gonna wrap up here pretty soon. But thanks for hanging around. Yeah, so we get to meet John, see some of the stuff he's working on, and talk about the transformation API. Like I said, y'all are gonna get a head start. So we're gonna announce officially like a short contest period, and the best transformation API are gonna get some. Oh yeah, Friday night is pizza night, Fox. This is a normal occurrence. It's especially pizza night when my wife and my oldest child are gone, and it's just me and the two youngest ones because I have been working on the stream all afternoon, so I'm not gonna be able to make dinner. So that's my excuse, not just I'm a lousy cook. Um, but and to be fair, they actually usually ask for it too. It's kind of our tradition. Um, but yeah, that's the Transform API. We'd love to see some more clever transformations added. And Josh, listen, I already had to tell Kyle, Vector 35 employees are not eligible for prizes from Vector 35, nor their family members. So just let it be said. Yep, that's it. Quit just so you can win that mug. Quit your job. You're gonna get a mug. It'll be much better, much more fulfilling to have a. Do I have one of the picture mugs? No, I don't. Oh no, I'm about to lose both Josh and Kyle just for that sweet mug. Uh, so yeah, we'll post something on Twitter with some more details, and we'll have like the obnoxious full detailed rules on like eligibility and all that fun stuff because of different countries that don't allow competitions or I forget. Maybe this because this is submitting an actual thing. It's not like a sweepstakes because you actually have to like it's more of a competition. We'll see how it works, but all right. So that's it. I look forward to seeing y'all's ideas. Any other questions, feedback? Y'all missed me last week. Have any? Oh, and then I saw no feedback, so I'm gonna choose Friday or Wednesday, whatever I want. Again, I'll check the comments later too, and we'll see if people who don't catch this live and watch it later have thoughts as well. In fact, those people might have stronger opinions if they couldn't catch it live about it being Wednesday or a different time. So Friday, there we go. Kyle likes Friday. Yeah, it's like at the end of the week, and we're kind of winding down. I mean, for y'all, I still have to work to get the stream done and get everything. I can't wind down early. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out. Look forward to seeing you guys next week, kind of getting back in a regular schedule. And as always, if you have Fox, I haven't forgotten about your binaries. I think I didn't have enough time this week after talking to John, but we'll be doing some challenge binaries. Oh man, the types view is awful right now. Mechanical null. Yeah, like 100%. Our types view currently is embarrassing. Like I mean, it's gotten a little bit better, I will say. Like the fact that Find now works in it. But like there's just so many, it needs like a filter view. I'm actually generally okay with like the editing, like the way that you work with stuff, like being able to hit Y in the whole structure or hit N on like to name a particular field or like that stuff I'm generally okay with, but like the overall like folding, searching, filtering, that is not great. Sort by ASCII as opposed to like alphanum, like actually insensitive sorting would be nice. Like there's just a lot of things that it I don't know, Fox. You may not learn it from me. I might need to get somebody. Maybe I'll get some of the other Binja folks that are better at reversing, and they can drive, or they can I can be hands on keyboard. And they can tell me how to do stuff. Maybe we'll group reverse it. Yeah, I mean like just being able to hit like E on this, and then have it basically do that, but like in line. And you could change it, hit enter or something. But would it be like the whole structure, or would it be just line, like the single line you were on? I don't know. So there's some there's definitely some improvements in here. Although I will say, looking at the milestones, resetting my font, which is a little large. I think. Yeah, so we've actually got several of these improvements. Yeah, I'm trying to think about just hitting E. Yeah, I think if you hit E, it should be the whole type, right? Like you just hit E anywhere in this type, and it would basically just be like a superset version of this feature. Like, why is it popping open a separate thing with the same thing when it could just like make this editable? And then I hit enter. Yeah, I think that's pretty clean, Kyle. I like that idea. Filtering is another one that's coming. That I think will make it. I think having filtering is like the main thing that I need right now. Like that's the one that really bugs me. We Mechanical Null, we talked about like Ghidra has like a much more structured editor for their types. It's almost like the Wireshark, like, you know, filter editor where like you can kind of assemble and compose stuff. I'm not actually sure I like that paradigm necessarily. But some of the like organizational stuff, like how you can organize or even like grouping or folding and like that kind of stuff, I really like. So I'm curious what it is that you would most like to see that Ghidra has in their type editor. Some specifics there would be appreciated because we are going to work on that. Yeah, exactly, Josh. Like I think for me anyway, I think that inline edit would be pretty sweet, but like in general, I think collapsible and filtering are the two most important things. And like maybe grouping, right? Because if you could both group and collapse, then I could be like, yeah, all the elf types, like bloop, just hide them. I don't want to see those. Put them all into the same group, and then collapse the whole group. I just want to see the user types. And then a few times when I do want to go in and actually look at the default Binja, you know, types for the elf format, like I can expand it and look at it. But I think by default that should be closed. I should have to see all this. And then the only things I'm looking at are the other types that I've actually made, right? If I've actually like added something. And they wouldn't be like all mixed in it. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Yeah. If you have other ideas, definitely let us know. But gosh, fingers, it's on the 3.0 list, so that should be coming soon. It's at least in the next couple months on the roadmap. So looking forward to it. Yeah. All right. Well, remove squiggly brackets. People wanted the squiggly brackets in what was the other? Just adding them in HLAL was like a big new feature, right? But like getting rid of them in, I think I've got it. I do have it on. Indent? No, is it group? I forget what it's called. Grouping, brace, scoping. Yeah, brace new line. I love that search, by the way. It's pretty clean like that. You can just search any of the properties to find that. So yeah, brace new line is requested in HLIL, but in types view, maybe people want it off. I mean, making it a preference would be easy. I think we'll pick something, but I think people customize it wouldn't be a problem. So cool. All right, it's good feedback. Thanks everybody for hanging out. It was great to see you as always. Look forward to seeing you next week, and take care. I miss my stream deck.